Welcome back to Fast Market here on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, and I'm joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks here. But let's bring on our next guest for our Cash Tag segment, and that's going to be Landon Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio. Welcome back to the show, Landon.
Thank you, Tom. Hey, Kevin. Good to be here.
All right. So we're talking chip space. Nvidia under pressure today on the back of some commentary out of Micron today where they're pulling back some of their estimates as far as growth or need from the community. The stock's down 45% so far this year. It's been under pressure. This is going to be a big one because the valuation on Nvidia is so much higher than a lot of its peers in this space, Landon. So if they miss or guide lower, I could see a big move out of this stock. But what kind of data are you guys seeing? Is gaming and crypto just wiping this company out?
Yeah, I think you're right that we could see a big move. What's crazy is you look at the market maker move, the expected move is about 8%, I believe, and it's up 16% this week. I mean, this thing has been all over the place. You mentioned it's about half of what it was 52-week high-wise, down 45 or 50%. Really some wild moves in this stock. But you're right, the crypto space certainly hurting this company, as is, the gaming. It's off a little bit. We've got it up year over year at pretty much all the gaming metrics that we look at. People who are new to gaming, people who are gaming on PCs. We got all kinds of things that we look at, and pretty much all of those are up 5 to 10% year over year, but they're down significantly year over 2 years ago. So the comps, depending on where you pull in the comparison period, could be slightly good or kind of bad, depending on, again, year versus 2 year. Purchase intent is up this quarter. It looks fairly strong, especially when you look at the current quarter. So that's what that far right bar is that you've got on the screen there. The one that's being reported is that the second to the right, 23Q3. So we've got a slight uptick there, but then the current quarter, which is underway right now, which is more of the guidance, I guess you could say, is doing much better. So if they get into guidance, they could have some good things to say there. But you're right. There's some problems going around with, competitors leaking some bad information, not leaking, but, coming out with some bad information. When you look at Nvidia versus, say, Intel and AMD, their happiness is a little bit lower. They're at about 73% versus 80 on their competitors. And then plus you've also got, all the China stuff with, the banning of certain types of chips. Pretty interesting, I think, that Paul Pelosi was able to nail that trade on that, going forward. So that was pretty cool of him. But yeah, if you remember when they came out with that news, that took a big hit for Nvidia. That basically banned one of their big products to one of their big competitors, to one of their big customers. And so they're now working around that. They've got a new product that is within the restrictions, and they probably will talk about that today to see if they're able to sell that to China. So don't want to get into politics too much, but it's pretty interesting when you've got the ability for a government to take away a big portion of your revenue, and then you got to work around that regulation, try to get that revenue back. So you can see here on this chart, before I hand it over to you guys, you can see that there was a huge run up during COVID because everybody was gaming. Crypto was kind of going a little crazier. And now we've kind of reverted back to, what it was. We've slight uptick. Meanwhile, the stock it's bounced, but it was on a very nasty decline for a very long time. And it has bounced recently. It's pulling back, very high volatility. So everything that we've got social media wise is somewhat bullish. Depending, again, on those comps, the website traffic that we look at is down a little bit. So between those two, we're slightly leaning bullish, but we're not really hardcore in the bullish camp.
Landon, very polarizing week in terms of news on the semiconductor industry, right? Warren Buffett takes a $4 billion stake in Taiwan Semiconductor. A lot of momentum going into Nvidia's release, and then Micron drops the bomb on the industry as a whole this morning with their proposed weakness. How do we look at a name kind of in the middle, right? It's into gaming. You're right. It's been weighed down by cryptocurrency and their relationship and their connection to mining of cryptocurrency and the whatever you want to describe what's going on with cryptocurrency right now. Is it a winter or is it just the end? I don't know, but this is a name that's right there. They're the grower. Tom mentioned their valuation. it's high because they're an unbelievably growing company. How do you guys see? How do they compare to Taiwan Semi? How do they compare to Micron? How do they compare to the overall industry? You see, your data looks like a pretty good recovery. This stock was $108 on October 13th. Now it's 160, almost 162, even with being down 3% today.
Right, exactly. So, one of the reasons I really like this company is they've got their hand in a lot of different pots, right? So they've got cryptocurrency, which right now not really working that great for them. They've got gaming, they've got AI, they've got personal computing, and they power so much. Anything that requires an extreme amount of computational ability and bandwidth, their chips can do it. So you start getting into AI in the future, or some are now. You're going to see everybody's has a need for their products. So they're very diversified in the type of clients who are going to be buying their products, the type of customers who are buying their products, which I really like. Now, some of those are down right now, and then they seem to go together, so maybe they're not as diversified as they appeared a year ago or so. But overall, I do love this company long term. I think they're very well positioned. Their products are great. I use pretty much all NVIDIA products in my computer setup. So as a customer, I do love them, and I seek them out, and I know the capabilities that they have. So I love them going long term. Short term, it's tough. I mean, this volatility is absolutely insane. And frankly, I think the options market may be priced a little low right now. I think the premium should be higher, so there could be some opportunity for buying puts and calls or spreads right now. But short term, again, leaning slightly bullish. Our score is plus 15, which usually our cutoff is somewhere around 15 to 20. So you could make an argument for a bullish trade here. You could also make an argument for a sidelines trade. But I'll leave that to you guys. But Tom, I'd love to hear your thoughts on NVIDIA.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I look at it, Landon, is that Qualcomm disappointed after earnings, right? Their big winning trade here, as far as the silos that they generate revenue from, is from data centers, right? And that's been pulling back because we saw a lot of the cloud-based companies that use NVIDIA data centers, their growth has been slowing. And then you got the crypto debacle here on it. But gaming, that's kind of the chart that I had as far as 23 Q4 here that you've got lightly shaded to the right that's seen an uptick. Gaming going into the holiday shopping season, a lot of new games have been released lately. A lot of people buy those gaming products going into the holiday season. Is that why you're seeing more mentions there in the latter stages where it's it's actually above the stock price finally in the first time in about maybe 6 or 7 quarters?
Yeah, so actually that chart is really cool. So that far right bar is where we estimate the quarter will end based on the information we have so far. And it's constantly updating every day. But it also is smart enough to know the type of quarter that it's in and what previous quarters of that same year have done. So even if we get a run up from people buying gifts for the holiday season or buying more gaming for the holiday season, if we saw that same run up in previous years at this point in the quarter, it would adjust for that. So this is actually abnormally large for this quarter. So it's not just, people are buying games, and you can kind of see 22 Q4 where that was at. It was much lower. So the pace so far is telling us that this is going to be a much better than expected Q4 for NVIDIA, which again, they're reporting Q3. So once they get into guidance, maybe this will come up. But right now, the main part of the report is going to be what they've done over the last 3 months, not the current 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, and to your point about maybe a potential big move in the shares, Kevin's been doing some long iron condors with stocks.
And there's another one coming, Tom, just so you know.
Stocks moving 2 and 3 standard deviations as opposed to 1 with the option market prices in on probabilities and a lot of those data points. But Landon, your score real quick here again?
Yeah, it's plus 15, right on the edge. So, Kevin, if you're putting one together, maybe move it up just a hair because we think maybe it'll be more up. But I completely agree with being long premium right now.
Yeah. All right. Great data as always, Landon. Appreciate it. That's Landon Swan, co-founder of LikeFolio, joining us breaking down the data here for NVIDIA. It's turned up a little bit, Kev.